Hello and welcome to my 5th gen lore breakdown. Primarily, this is just to make sure that some of you guys do not get info wrong. Courtesy of me, Anatolia's Mercenary, on the Armored Core Discord. I am in fact actually the lore master of the AC Discord. I even have a badge. So let's start with the most important piece of info ever. Jay is not an AI. He is a clone. Courtesy of page 33, page 38, and in the Silicon Era description. Jay is specifically a clone of Joshua O'Brien. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's move on to the Great War. The Great War was the period from after FA, from the Orc ending, which is the canonical ending, because the League went to space. Yes, the League went to space. The towers were ships used to get some of their tech to space, but some failed. And some failed, and some failed. Some failed, and they became the towers, and then wars happened while the League was trying to escape to space. Not wars, a big free-for-all basically happened between the League and everyone else. Using Nex, which polluted the planet even more than it already had been polluted. And then eventually the League escapes to space. The tech to use Nex and Kojima tech is gone, basically. Alright, I should also mention that White Glint was active during the Great War. Yeah, I should also mention, I feel the need to mention that too. So everyone downgrades from Nex to the 5th gen ACs. But these aren't actually the same 5th gen ACs that we use in 5th gen. No, these are prime 5th gen ACs. You see, I say they're prime 5th gen ACs because they were like super duper better than regular 5th gen ACs. There were 3 generations of prime 5th gen ACs, corresponding to each defense type: KE, TE, and CE. No shit. KE, CE, TE. Okay, yeah. Chiefs AC is one of the TEACs, actually. One of the prime 5th gen TEACs. If that wasn't obvious. Right, about Chief and Carol. They are 2 AIs that, they're the 2 AIs that the League left to try and fix the world, even though the League knew it was impossible. So, moving on from that, we'll enter a couple hundred years later, after after the contamination takes over the entire planet. Hundreds of years later, the contamination eventually dissipates and humanity comes back from underground. Humanity comes back from underground and eventually discovers the city, just named the City. Sorry, my throat is it's a bit weird. They eventually discover the city. More pockets of livable spaces are discovered, and and then more years pass. Jack Batty, who is French by the way, Jacques Batty, leads a gang of bandits out to the contamination, find Don Tyrell, and a UCR10AC. And yeah. Alright, the ultimate weapons were not made during Cthulhu's time. They were actually made during the Great War for the Prime 5th Gen ACs. Anyway, yeah. So there is that. Shit, I am. What was I talking about again? Sorry, I'm just this bottle. Jack Batty and Don Tyrell. So Jack and his bandits discover Tyrone and UCR-10AC. They threaten to kill Don, but Jack stops them and says that if he shows Jack how to pilot the AC, then Don will live. And Don shows him how, and the two become friends actually. Then they go to the city, and Jack's bandits become an actual force, becoming one of the top bandit groups. Yeah. And then, like, several years later, they're actually attacked by some other bandit groups. And at that point, Jack's bandits had all been dying off, and there were 3 non-members. Jack, Don, and Curtis. Curtis actually had a daughter he had brought with them, but they were attacked, and Curtis was killed, and Jack and Francis, Frances, by the way, not Francis. Francis. Whatever. Fran and Jack run away out of the city, where some contamination had cleared up. And Don hides in the shadows, and like 15 years pass or something, and Don becomes father. Jack and Fran return back to the city. Jack becomes father's right-hand man, but father institutes an segregation. He segregates the upper class from the middle and lower class, and the middle and lower class lives were hell, basically. Yeah. So Jack, being the great guy that he is, decides to institute a revolution, actually, by rallying all the people of the underground subways that they were exiled to, and they stage a revolt and steal some tech. And Jack actually pilots the AC he used. And the AC he used was actually Vendetta. So you all already know how that turns out. The resistance is scattered. Jack is fought and then killed by Chief. And then 1 year passes, and the ACV protag defects after having a change of heart. Then the entire story of V happens. Oh right, Zodiac. Here, I'll explain Zodiac. Okay, so the Zodiac project was a project designed to create the ultimate AC pilot. And Chief and Carol headed the experiment. And 13 people signed up. 12 AC pilots and a woman named Angie. The 12 AC pilots were turned into designed, basically cyborgs. And Angie was turned into a prototype Phantasmobeing. I gotta explain design, cultivators, and Phantasmobeings. So designed are cyborgs, basically. Cultivators are clones, brainwashed clones. And Phantasmobeings are digitized consciousnesses that have a personality, so... And the reason Angie is a prototype Phantasmobeing is because It is because she does not have a personality. She's just a regular AI. Also, the fact lists her as like some kind of. The fact says she's a designed, but well, I mean, she doesn't have a body, which would classify her as a phantasma being, not a designed. So we'll just go with mix between designed and phantasma being, despite her not having an actual body. For there to be cybernetics in. Yeah, so the project was deemed a failure, and the Zodiac Palace were sent out into the world, with no orders, and all their allies dead. Yeah. Then after all of Zodiac is killed, the ACV protag and his ensemble get attacked by some Men of Honor groups, and then they comply with what the captain of the MOA groups was trying to tell them, and they meet Goneril, Rosary's sister from her MOH days. The MOH days. And Goneril says that she will pay everything they need. Not everything. She will pay them a large sum of money to go across the sea with two people, Edward Stork and a man named Isaac, a crippled man named Isaac. Isaac had actually found the tower across the sea, and he was wandering through the contamination because his home had been destroyed by some groups in the contamination, and everyone he knew died. So that kind of sucked for him, I guess. Isaac is rescued by Edward Stork, the diver and pilot of the F-21C Stork helicopter that all the helicopters are. Yeah, so there's that, and then Isaac is taken back across the sea to Goneril's headquarters, and basically everyone just heads across the sea. Everyone heads across the sea to the tower. And so, well, they do that, and then when they get there, they meet Chief, and they meet they see a familiar AC, Hanged Man, and Carol begins to talk. She calls them failed experiments, and that the ACV Protag's power was too great for this world, and some more nine-bally words. And then the Hanged Man AC leaves. And then Carol doesn't say anything more, so she probably left too. And then they move further inland to the tower. I mean, not to the tower. They move further inland to get to the tower. And then along the way, they meet Venidae forces. Or Venide, or fuck it, Venidae. They meet Venidae forces, who are all a bunch of Virgils. They're all a bunch of them. Obsessed with power. And then along the way, the ACV Protag meets, after killing all of his subordinates, the ACV Protag meets fucking Little Caesar's Venidae. Little Caesar's Venidae, and he, and they fight. And then halfway through, the fight is interrupted by 4 Hanged Man ACs when they get to the tower. Actually, they fight Little Caesar's Venidae and the ACV Protag fight at like the tower. And then Chief notices the Blackbird emblem that the Dark Raven had. Shit! that the ACB Protect has, and calls him Mr. Dark Raven, forever coining the term. So, yeah. And then Isaac gets out of the Stork helicopter. While Little Caesar's Venidae and the Dark Raven fight off all 4 Chief ACs, all 4 hanged men, Isaac begins to monologue. He says that humankind was unworthy of the world it was born into, and that its sins had destroyed lives, and that humanity deserved genocide for what it had done to the world. He called Chief and Carol obsolete. Failures themselves, actually. And then, well, Chief is interested, really. He's very interested. And then Chief and Carol, then when all the hanged men are destroyed, an unknown weapon that we will never know what it is attacks Little Caesar's Venidae and the Dark Raven. And it dies, and then Carol unleashes a blast of Kojima. Then, some parts of the tower blow up. And then, Little Caesar's Venidae runs off. The Dark Raven and his ensemble and Edward Stork run away. Then Isaac curses the 2 AIs for taking him. No idea what that means. But it's probably something due to Phantasma being tech. And then he's nowhere to be found in the rubble when they go back to look, once the levels are safe. So, the Dark Raven and his ensemble head back across the sea. And then Fran and Rosary make an agreement. They'll go their separate ways, but they will form their own organizations to destroy Venidae. Because Venidae was completely obsessed with power, and they did not want that. So Rosary returns to the Men of Honor and rules it along with Goneril. Fran leaves along with Cendrillon, and using their crossing abilities, Cendrillon settles in the Far East, and the Dark Raven is abandoned, and he's never spoken of again. All records of him vanished. Fast forward a couple of decades later, Isaac kickstarts the Design, Cultivator, and Phantasma Beings program. The Design, Cultivator, and Phantasma Being programs again. Isaac had easily settled into his new role as a Phantasma Being. Chief and Carol had given him some tech to have a head start with, and they had actually had a bet. If Isaac proved that humanity was self-destructive and could completely wipe out all of humankind, then he would be right. That humankind deserved to die. And Chief and Carol, they do nothing. They just relax on their space station, watching as the world goes through conflict after conflict after conflict. And then Isaac heads to the east. Further east. Not as east as the Evergreen family, no. But somewhat east. In the destroyed land of Anatolia. Isaac, he takes the DNA of Joshua O'Brien and clones him. He brainwashes that clone and forces him to do his bidding. Oh no, the clone breaks out, of course. But at that point, he was so far gone, Jay just needed something to do. So he stayed with Isaac. Because Isaac would let him kill things. It was something to do after all. Jay piloted an AC a lot, like For's White Glint. A rifle on a lightweight frame with a pointed core. A blade and an energy weapon on the left back. And then, some more years later, Jay's in his 40s. Prime Dill Fringe. He's in his 40s by the time he severs Magnolia Curtis's arm. Yeah, you heard me right, Magnolia Curtis. The descendant of Fran Curtis. And possibly, maybe even the Dark Raven, too. It could be how she knows who he is, when most of the legend was forgotten. But her arm is severed, and then fast forward 2 years, the entire story of Verdict Day happens, and then Jay dies, piloting the second White Glint, refurbished and reverse engineered. And he tries to strike down a foe a lot like Joshua's old friend. And Jay dies. He dies there having gotten what he wanted. Death. And then Isaac bleeds himself along with it. Then World Mode happens. The Foundation keep throwing out weapons and weapons, following their founder's goal to destroy all of humanity. It's unknown what actually happened to humankind. Did they persevere? Or were they all wiped out? The after doesn't say. Or at least, I never found anything that said it. And that is the story of 5th Gen. A complete lore breakdown. Shit. Fuck. Okay, there's still some more things. Reaper Squad were designed too. Jay has an actual body. Maggie's Reaper Squad AC has the colors inverted. The colors are inverted from her regular color scheme. And then, yeah, that's the lore breakdown of Verdict Day. Not Verdict Day, 5th Gen. If you have any more questions, just ask me in the comments. I'm not the lore master of 5th Gen for nothing. That's not a joke, by the way. I have an actual badge in the Armored Core Discord.